Now that we've completed our shed, the basic part of our shed, we're going to add a floor around the shed that's basically going to be made of grass. And we're going to add some trees and some people just to kind of give it an ambient feel that it's being in use. And so I'm going to go to my floor plan, floor view, and I'm going to click floor. And I'm going to create a new floor. And so I'm going to come over here and just use my rectangle tool and draw a rectangle that goes outside the borders of my shed. And I'm also going to draw another rectangle where I'm going to lock on to the very top left corner here as far out as I can go. And I'm going to bring this to the very bottom right hand corner as well. And snap that on right there. That way we're going to have a hole in our floor right there because we've already got one floor. We're just making an outer floor. Okay, I'm going to hit escape and escape until I get back to my regular mouse cursor. I'm going to click on this top wall or top line of our floor here, and right here I've got how many feet away it is from this edge, and I'm just going to make it 10 feet in all directions. So I'll type 10 here, enter, and I'm going to click on this wall and make this one 10 feet as well. And I'm going to click on this wall and do the same thing. So basically I'm going 10 feet in every direction. So that there's that much space between it and the shed. I'm going to hit check. And I'm going to go to my home view. So now we've got our floor here. And it's just a gray floor because it's generic. And I'm basically going to create this ambient look and save this as a different shed, just so that you have this version and another version. Because we don't want all the trees and the flooring and everything to be viewed in our title blocks that we're going to create. So for this floor, I'm going to go to Edit Type, and I'm going to duplicate this, just like I do if I'm ever going to edit a floor, because I don't want to edit the original, I want to make a new one. And I'll just name this one Grass, and hit OK. And I'm going to go to Structure, and on Structure 1, I'm just going to keep it on structure, and for category I'm going to choose grass, and it's under site grass. You can also just search for grass and find grass wherever it might be. So I'll make this grass, hit OK. And 1 foot's a little too much. I'm just going to make this 4 inches. Hit OK. And apply, and OK. Now I'm going to click off. Now I've got grass. So this is good. And I'm also going to add a few trees and bushes and people. So I'm going to go to Component, and I'm going to load Family. Cycle through these views until I find my Load Family. There we go. Load Family. And I'm going to go to Planting. And I'm going to choose a tree and a shrub. So we got some different trees here, and there's not very many of them as you would see normally, but I'll choose RPC tree deciduous. And you can see that some of these trees are rather large, and so you probably don't want to pick something that's too large. And you can see how tall they are with these feet. So maybe a gray birch, which is 10 feet tall, that's a good choice. So I'll put one of those there, and just pick a couple different trees and make sure that they're not too large. Here's another gun, Japanese maple that's 10 feet tall. So I'll put that one up front here. And I'll choose a Koza dogwood. Put that one right. I'll put that one in the back corner. Now I'll cancel out. Here's my trees. And I'll go to Component, Load Family, go to Planting, grab some shrubs, put a few bushes down. That's good. And one more component I'll load family. I'm going to go to entourage, and I got some males and females, so grab whichever you'd like. I'll grab one female, and there's a bunch of different people: Kathy, Cynthia, Florence, Lisa, so you can pick different people models, so I'll just put one right here going into the door. Cancel, cancel, and you can also just escape. Okay, so we've got our people here, and we've got our shrubbery and trees. Now we're going to take a couple of pictures of our view here. So I'm going to go to my floor plan. And my person is not, I mean, you could go ahead and rotate your person. So I'll click on my person and rotate her 90 degrees so that she's facing the doorway. And you can do that with any of the other parts here, or trees, or bushes. And my bushes are not really evenly spaced, so I could arrow them around to where I want them to be as well. And this is very important because you want to add ambience to your scene, and when you're trying to sell an idea you want to make it look nice, and so adding a floor of grass and some trees and some other things that might be around the scene is important to the client who wants to see what this thing is actually going to look like when it's finished. So I'm going to go up here to my 3D view, but I'm actually going to hit the arrow right next to it, and I'm going to go to camera. And this is basically going to be taking a picture from a certain perspective. And so this little camera icon, I can put it wherever I want around my scene, and I can take a picture from that position and look at it from that perspective, basically. So I'm going to take my camera and put it out here outside my grassy area. So I'm going to put it about right here. It doesn't matter, just make it look about the same distance from the subject. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to move my mouse, and this little like funnel or this triangular view is what I'm looking at. So I'm standing right here taking a picture in this direction. If I went over here, then I'd be taking the picture looking in this direction. So I want to make sure that this is looking at my object the way that I like it, and that's pretty good. I can see the person, I can see the tree and the shrubbery here, so this is a pretty good perspective. Click again. And so we can see our scene. I can actually take my little cube here and look around the scene as well. I can actually flip all the way around and look at it in different ways. But this is the view that I liked, and so this is the view I'm going to use. I can see all my shrubs and everything. And I can even take these little bars here, these borders, and pull them out a little bit so I can see more of my scene. Pull this down so I don't see so much sky. So that's pretty good. I can see the tree here and some of the bushes and the person at the door. So this is a good perspective. So make your perspective look close to this. And now we're going to render this view. So I'm going to go to View, Tab, and go to Render, which is the little teapot. And I'm going to change some settings here. First, I'm going to change this so it says draft, and actually I'm going to make it medium instead. I'm also going to make sure that region is unchecked. So make sure this doesn't have a checkbox on it, so you don't have this little square here. So uncheck region, make it medium, go to printer, and for the DPI we're going to choose 75 DPI. And I'm going to go to my setting one more time, and I'm going to edit this medium setting by going to edit. So medium is set here. I'm going to go here and choose custom. And my image precision, I'm going to turn this up to 8. So this will just make it a little bit more realistic looking. So image precision is 8. Click OK. And I'm going to go ahead and choose render. I'm using lighting, sun only, sky, few clouds, clear. So all these should be about, in the same settings I have. So I'll hit render. And this will take a while. It'll probably take a few minutes to complete this. Okay, so that took me about 2.5 minutes to render, and this is what I got. So we have a more realistic view. We're also going to do one of the interior. And I'm going to go down, and you can adjust the exposure if you'd like after the image has been done. And so, like, let's say we don't want the exposure to be so high. We can turn the exposure down a little bit, maybe to 15 instead, hit apply, and you see that it gets darker or brighter. So I can pull this back up, hit apply, and it gets really bright. So where we were was a pretty good range, and so maybe we want our highlights to be darker. So you can adjust these. Unfortunately, you can't see them until you apply them, but you can actually get a better perspective, like warm, cool. We can make the colors more intense or less intense. So obviously you don't want them to look too wrong or too out of the blue. I'm going to turn my highlights down a little bit more. My midtones, just darken this up just a little bit more. That looks a lot better. So I'm going to hit OK. So now I can see the more detail of my picture. So I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to export this, and I'm going to go to my H drive, and I'm just going to name this shed outside, and save this to your shed, wherever your shed is saved to. And I'd recommend having a folder for all of your projects, so you might want to save this as a shed. So go ahead and export it as shed outside. I'm gonna save this in my documents, and then I'm also going to save it as a project, and I'm going to name this shed outside as well. Now what I did is, the first thing that I did when I exported it is I turned it into a JPEG, which you can put into a PowerPoint. You can show it to anybody who has a computer. Saving it as a project is going to put it in my browser over here so that I can put it into title blocks or use it in my project more. So hit OK. And I'm going to close this. In my browser, I can scroll down and look at the renderings with the plus sign, and I got my shed outside. So there it is. So I can see it whenever I want. Looks a little darker now, but there it is. Okay, so now I'm going to make an interior view of the shed, and so I'm going to come up here, or actually at first I'm going to go over to my floor plan, and I'm going to take it from where this tree is. So I'm going to move this tree out of the way really quick, and I'm going to take a picture of it going into the shed in this direction. So I'll go to my views and go to camera, and I'm going to take the picture from roughly where that tree was, so somewhere in this corner right here. Click, and that's a good perspective. And so now I can see my shed, but I'm really close to the wall right now. I'm actually going to tilt my cube up a little bit, my view cube here, and I'm going to drop this down just slightly, pull this out so that I can see the very edge of the shed. I'm going to pull it out so I can see the whole thing, and then I'm just going to pull it in so that I'm just seeing the inside of this wall here, and pull this way out, and I'm going to pull this in so that I can just see the edge of the wall there. And now I'm going to hide a couple things, just temporarily, in this view. So I'm going to click on this door here. I actually double clicked it. Right click it, and I'm going to say hide in view elements. If I were to say category, then every door would go away, but I just want to do this element. And now I'm going to click the wall. I'm going to hide this in view elements, and I'm going to click this wall and hide this one in view elements and the windows. So now I can see inside my shed, and I'm going to try and make it so that I can see as much of the inside as possible while concealing these walls here. So see how my wall is ending right here? I'm actually going to click my little view window and pull this just to the edge of the wall, and this one as well, just to the edge, so it looks like I'm looking inside my shed here. So I'm going to go up to view, and I'm going to render, and I'm going to make sure that I turn the setting to medium again, and printer, and set 75 dpi, and then I'm going to come back here and go to edit, and I'm going to choose custom view, turn the precision up to 8, hit OK. Now I'm going to render this and make sure region is off. Okay, that took about a minute or so, and I've got the interior of my shed now, so I'm going to export this. I'm going to save this as shed interior, hit save, and I'm going to save the project and name it shed interior. close this. I'm going to close this as well. This is just my view that I'm looking at right now. So I've still got this view. And now I've got shed outside and shed interior as well. Or I guess you could have named it inside. Now we're going to make some schedules. So here's schedules right here in my browser. I'm going to right click this and say new schedule. And I want to do doors. I'm going to make a door schedule. And I want to do the count. I'm going to add that. I'm going to do the family and type. Add that. That's it for this tab right here. I'm going to go to the sorting and grouping tab, and I'm going to sort by family and type. And I'm going to go to grand totals. Check that. And I'm going to not itemize every instance. And then on appearance, I'm going to not leave a blank row before data. So I'm going to turn this off and hit OK. Now you should see a door schedule show up. I'm going to pull this out. So it says family and type, single panel, 3 and 36 inches by 84 inches, and there are 2 of them, and it says the grand total is 2. Now in a big project, you'll probably have multiple doors with multiple types, and so it'll list them all here, and instead of doing every single one, you can change this to 2. Now if you ever want to change the schedule, in my properties here, you can hit edit on any of these and it'll bring you back to this window. Okay, I want another schedule, so I'm going to right click this and go to new schedule. And I'm going to do windows. I'm going to add the count and the family and type. This doesn't mean that we're only ever going to add these, but I'm only just going to do these for this one. Go to sorting and grouping. I'm going to sort it by family and type. I'm going to do the grand totals, and I'm not going to itemize every instance. I'm going to go to appearance, and I'm going to not leave a blank row before the data, and hit OK. So we've got 3 windows, and they are slider with trim. And I'm going to make one more schedule, and this one I'm going to do planting. Hit OK. I'm going to do count. I'm going to do family and type as well. Go to sorting and grouping and sort by family and type. Do grand totals. Don't itemize every instance. And for appearance, no blank row before data, and hit OK. So here I've got acacia, a deciduous, gray birch, so you can see all these different trees that we're going to add, and shrubs. So this is good and important scheduling that you do when you want to show the different types of doors, windows, and other objects you're going to put into your building.